Today, I would like to do a video on a guy that I met in Victorville that was one of the most devout Muslims I have ever seen in the federal system. His name is Big Dirk. When I was in Victorville, I was over sports, which is basketball, baseball, and football. And this is right around the time when Obama was passing out clemencies, and I was on the yard with a lot of guys that had started giving their time back, and a lot of guys was telling me that it was a guy there named Big Durk that I didn't really know him at first, but I started seeing him around the compound. He was always carrying his Quran. He was one of the most devout Muslims I ever seen. He was always on his deen, and I always was wondering who was this guy, because I had ran into a lot of guys that was Muslims, and I had ran into a lot of guys that was from Chicago, and I had ran into a lot of guys that had been ex-gang members. But this guy, he stuck out a little bit. He was kind of special. This guy that Big Dirk, I used to see him in the library a lot, and I used to see him in the chapel a lot, especially on Fridays. And I used to always see him in the kitchen, but he always minded his own business. I heard he had came from somewhere like Colorado or one of those places, but I had always seen he was a nice-mannered guy. He minded his business, and he was always about his deen. He never really running around spreading, different things, but he always was real manageable. He was real obedient to the word. And then one day we was in the unit, and I remember the day that we was in a unit, and BET was on, and while BET was on, we seen there was some BET stuff on there that was talking about Little Durk. Little Durk is one of the biggest rappers in the United States right now. And I remember when him and a young lady named Dave Loaf was on BET, and they was a good couple, and I seen that she was really trying to bring him into the fold, bring him into the rap game, or however, vice versa. I don't know what it was, but I had noticed that this guy was an upcoming rapper. I think he was beefing with some other guys over the certain things in the city or whatever they was doing. But I had a lot of experience in being in the feds with different guys from different cities that was always, beefing with the inner city stuff. Now, this guy, man, he was up and coming rapper, and he was on BET Soundstage. I think it was one of those big events that they was having, that they was on there performing together, and that was one of the most nicest, beautiful couples I ever seen. But I always noticed that this guy was kind of special. So when he came out and he started doing his thing, and I didn't see him for a long time, and then all of a sudden I heard that he had started being into the business real big. And he started, and he had the dreads, he had the jewelry. He was a real street guy that a lot of guys respected and had come to respect. But to talk about Dirk and Little Dirk and Big Dirk, I had an opportunity to be into the atmosphere when people were starting giving their time off. So when Obama started getting people their time off, we started seeing that a lot of the sentences was falling off. And a lot of the guys that was getting out, they started getting out on the crack law. So one day we was on the yard. I was the commissioner of sports, and I used to always see, Dirk and a few of his Muslim brothers doing prayer out there on the yard, and they would do prayer on the side over there by the unicorn. And I always seen him leading the prayer. Always seen him talking with his Quran, pointing out stuff in his Quran. This is one of the most obedient Muslims I've seen, and this is what the guys that you look up at, you see them, that they come from a past that a lot of guys was trying to get away from a better day self, but I always seen that this guy was one of the guys that you would look at to make an example of somebody. And that way, the day I was talking about the guy Dirk, and this guy, man, is special. So I always seen him leading in prayer, and with the prayer going on, I had to see, and I wanted to experience how real Muslims carried themselves. Okay, now we would start getting the time off. Obama let out, it was 5,000 lifers in there. I think Big Dirk had life. It was 5,000 lifers in there, and Obama let out, it was 5,500 lifers, and Obama let out 500. And I think that he was one of the 500 that Obama let out, because I remember one day everybody was starting to get their life sentences off. Richie Rich, Gil, some guys from DC, Bo from Pasadena, Fat Dog from the hundreds, L Mac from 30s. A lot of guys, man, they just started getting these life sentences off. And I remember the day that Big Dirk got his time off, and I seen that he got it off, and then we was happy for him, and everybody was walking around the yard talking about that this guy had actually got his sentence off. And we was all happy because a lot of guys that was working in the law library, we all hung together, we all prayed together, we all stayed together. We had a nice thing going on with all the guys with life sentences, and all the guys from life sentences stuck together, and we always were happy for one another. And when Dirk got his life sentence off, I don't know if one of the guys that was working in the library helped him get it off. His name is Amos Scott. Amos Scott was one of the best penitentiary lawyers you ever want to see. I'm pretty sure that everybody that had a life sentence, everybody would go through this guy, and I'm pretty sure that Dirk went through this guy and asked him questions. And I know that this guy really deserved to get his life sentence off. And I seen how a lot of times guys turn to religion and they turn to God, and this guy really practiced what he preached. And we all know that Obama got it off for him, and then Trump got it off for the other guys. But this guy really deserved it, and I hope his family's proud, and I hope his son's proud, and I hope that they be able to do some things together. But the reason I wanted to do this video is because I have seen Dirk put the maximum amount of money on one of these guys' books that's in the rap business. I would just wish that I could pray that a lot of the rappers start helping guys that's just getting out of prison, helping guys that had a life sentence, and helping guys that come home, because much is given, much is required. And I know that these guys is in a situation that they can help these guys. And I pray that a little Dirk start helping guys that's in prison, especially my man Scott that helped everybody get out of prison. He's not getting enough recognition on helping guys get out. I know guys that can get other people out, but they can't get themselves out. And I would just like to pray that and send a message out to the guys that's in the world. You need to start looking at some of these guys that's just getting out of jail and that been dead 30, 40 years, 20 years, and you need to start looking at them to see if any way you can help these guys, because these guys was not playing, and they had life sentences, and now they out, and they don't have the resources, and they don't have the lawyers, they don't have the things to do to protect themselves and help themselves in the world. So I wish this video helped, that these rappers start helping guys that just get out of doing these 20s and 30s, because a lot of guys that's getting out, they can't depend on the family or the people that was saying they was gonna help them, because they gave me $6 when I got out of jail. But this particular video is on Big Dirk and Little Dirk, which is the brother, which is the son and father. And we all of us have kids, and all of us have sons and fathers. Big Dirk, Little Dirk, will you please pay attention to the brothers that's coming home all over the system. I know you ain't gotta help everybody, but a lot of these guys, they need help. They need transportation, they need clothes, they need other things to be into society. If you can help them, help them. If you can't, don't worry about it.